Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good week in the stock market. Closing it down. It's Friday, September 17th. Got about 50 minutes left. What a slow day on GME. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about SPY, covered calls, option plays. Is this the end of the SPY mega rally? Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. We have a Twitter you can follow us on at HappyMoneyYT. Got a nice, pretty silent yacht on there. And our Discord you can also get on. It's in the description. Yeah. So market, it has broken through that support line I drew. Today has just been a slow meltdown on it. I was kind of expecting, I guess, a little more consolidation already, not kind of how it did out of the gate. Remember, I was saying I expected to kind of consolidate and then drop late in the day. It gapped down and then it just kept melting down very, very slow today, the market. So I'm not really sure what to play it yet. I feel like we'll probably get a little bounce first, but honestly, Monday could be a big gap down, or maybe even a little retrace back up a little bit before we make a big move down. But I could be wrong. I mean, this past 7 or 8 trading days have just been so slow. Really, you could have only made money probably selling premium for the most part. I mean, there's some volatility in there, so you can make it either way, but nothing big and violent on SPY. Nothing like these gaps right here where you can do well, or big days like this that carry into that. But so I'm kind of waiting a little bit. I'd like to see a pretty good bounce, and we might actually have a big drop before that. So the bounce, of course, wouldn't be, new all-time highs or even up here. It'd be a lower high. So I'd expect it kind of to retrace maybe back to this moving average. But again, Monday, I'm kind of inconclusive on Monday what's going to happen. Could be a black Monday and we're down at 400, or could just be a little consolidation, a little bounce. I really don't know. I mean, technical analysis is bearish on everything. We've got red candle under the 9 moving average. We have for 7 trading days. Had a bearish MACD for a while. So I think it's confirmed now, I would say, that it is different than this, all these little volatility bounces we've had off this trend line. And we were confirming that days ago just because of the price action here. So, gosh, Webull desktop is laggy compared to browser. I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, now that we're below that, you could start loading up now. I feel like, I don't know. RSI is a little bit low on the daily. It's down to 42, which doesn't mean it can't keep going lower. I mean, during COVID and stuff, it was the bottom. I don't like how this scales either on the dark mode, guys. Making me be on the dark mode. Look, I zoom all the way out on the daily and I can't see the bottom of the RSI. Oh, and these things keep resetting. This is super annoying. If I drag these down, I reset, drag down. It doesn't save it, even though, okay, whatever. I'll figure this out later. I just go on without my day not realizing it. So yeah, this correction could be massive. We've got lots of gaps to fill, of course. I think the beginning of a bearish trend for sure. And yeah, today was pretty unusual, man. That RSI just pinned low and then just so weak. GameStop, on the other hand, and we'll talk about, do we have any other plays? We do. We closed out some good plays. Just the way this SPY looks, though, a lot of my long plays I closed out of. Sorry, I'll turn this music down some. A lot of my long plays I closed out of for next week. Just because I think next week we probably will come down overall, and if it has enough velocity when it's coming down, it'll pull down the whole market. GameStop kind of did exactly what we were thinking, just ended up consolidating and looks like it's going to close about max pain at 200. On the daily, these candles are nice trend up, but we haven't shaken this bearish MACD, so I still expect downward price action at some point. That, or we just kind of keep consolidating, I suppose. But yeah, it's kind of split right now for me in between the fact that we can't flip that daily MACD to bullish makes me think it's setting up for another drop. And I don't know if it'll be 192 or back down to like 165 or could be 180. We'll see. I think it's setting up for another drop. Probably next week, maybe Monday. But it's possible it just kind of keeps consolidating and doesn't drop. Not a huge deal. We did some covered calls. So the thing about computer share, all that, I'm not gonna get into it too much. If you want to register on a computer share, that's totally up to you, or buy on computer share. People were saying this price action was from people registering on computer share. I wasn't convinced of that. And I think today shows that it's pretty evident that I don't think the computer share buying was 2 days back here, a bunch right here, and then none right here, because it takes 2 days or whatever, 5 days, some days are different. And then the dark pool trading has gone up and down. It's like, oh, less dark pool trading because of computer share. It's fluctuated back and forth. I've looked at the charts. So not to say that that's not a good thing, and maybe that is helping, but it's such a small amount of the float that I don't think it will have much effect at all, especially not noticeable, not at this point. But it's probably a good idea if that's something you want to do and think you're helping out, then that's all the better. This thing on the hourly is bearish, so yeah, bearish on all fronts. So yeah, I imagine we come down on Monday. Yeah, so rollover, they didn't do it, and that could mean that potentially, I think the futures and all that settle. I think it's maybe same day or maybe 1 day. So at either rate, I think either Monday or Tuesday could be insane if this is, I don't know if this is all true, basically, if they have a lot more to roll over and they didn't roll it over. They did some here, it looks like, but they kind of stopped. Oh, I read this actually awesome DD. I'm not going to go over the whole thing. But basically it talks about even back in September of 2020, GameStop experienced kind of the same thing during this run up. The same things were happening with the rollover and then the failed to deliver settlement. But what happened here, the big difference that made this happen and then on into the January sneeze or pinch, was that this was all in what is that? Oh man, this was all in that period. What is it? It's not settlement period, but I can't remember now. But basically we haven't been in it. I can't remember what it is. Anyways, we haven't been in it since here. So it was in it, and that's causing that sneeze, that pinch, and then it happened here again too. But we haven't been in that. Gosh, I cannot think of that name. That pisses me off. AMC, I think, is on it even, but we are not. Anyways, doesn't really matter. So we really have to be back in that threshold. Is it? Okay. It's been a long week. Today was too slow. But yeah, so rollover, if the rollover theory is right, it's possible that Tuesday we could see them basically having to close their positions because they didn't roll them over. I'm not going to say if Tuesday we don't go to the moon or have crazy price action that this rollover theory is not true. But it's possible that if we do see it, then we could kind of come to conclusions that it is true and they didn't roll over and they're having to cover some. I'll think of it. Let me show you guys real quick one of the. Okay, actually it's on this DD. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but game of thresholds, futures, and the changes. This is a pretty good one. Report manipulation. What is it? Oh, it's in here. We're gonna find it. Threshold. It is the threshold list. Is that it? Yeah. Yes, we haven't been on the threshold list since those times, and this DD kind of goes into it. You can jump on our Discord and get the link. This is from Flaming Pope. He shared this one. So basically, they're able to manipulate and kick the can much easier if we're not on this threshold list. And I don't have expectations for Tuesday to be crazy. I'm gonna follow price action and play options, get calls if if we start breaking resistances and making new highs pretty much. So, but I'm also, of course, rolling short puts, so collecting premium on the way and doing covered calls, but I have to watch it pretty close and have covered calls out, because if we start to rocket, I definitely want to buy those and close them out. One other thing I watched, and this is actually saying computer shares is the way, or at least a good thing to do, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not one way or the other, but when people are saying, oh, this is happening because of this, it's happening because of this, we don't know. We are the puppets in this puppet show. The strings that are attached to our shoulders and our hands and our feet are being controlled by the puppet master. You can think that you're doing it, but you're just Pinocchio. So this was it, actually. So I saw an interview with this guy, that I borrow guy, IKB, whatever it was. I saw an interview, but it was actually a different one, and then I saw this one, and it was Interactive Brokers, and this one is kind of interesting. So I'll play this for you.
They have the right to ask for their shares.
Yeah.
And they really wanted a short squeeze. That's what they would have done.
Let's just start with this simple question: how close we were to this system breaking, something failing. How close were we, Thomas?
We were frighteningly close on January 28th, when we had 50 million registered shares. At the same time, we had 50 million registered shares. At the same time, we had 70 million shares short, and 150 million shares short via short call options. So if the call options had been exercised, the shorts would have had to deliver 270 million shares. Well, if the longs had known that they have the right to ask for their shares,
yeah,
and they really wanted a short squeeze, that's what they would have done.
So that's saying
let's just start with this simple
DRS,
question:
direct register.
how close we were to this system breaking, something failing. How close?
So that's the whole video. It kind of clipped different parts of the interview, but basically it was the founder of Interactive Broker confirmed that it was 550% short interest in January, and that's not even including probably the failed delivers and, I mean, ETFs. I don't think that's all of it, but at a minimum, that's I think what we were at. And he's saying if they knew they could recall their shares, they that would have had the squeeze. The thing with retail and how this is playing out, it's much more difficult than, it's not one big entity that can just move this massive amount of shares from a brokerage to direct share. So the computer share thing could work, but it literally would have to be I don't know. He's saying that like retail could just easily do that, and it wouldn't be that easy. But the longer they kick this down the road, the bigger the squeeze is going to happen. So it doesn't bother me a whole lot, and the more money people are putting into it, and I'm ready for it just as much as anybody. But yeah, here we go. So day actually isn't over. We've got quite a bit of time left, but I bought SPY calls this morning. Woo! Thanks, Donero. Yeah, thanks. Close out of the hood position. Looks like we still have some needing to be filled. There's a put credit spread. So how this works is you receive credit when you open it, and then when it goes in your favor or it just doesn't go out of your favor, you basically close it and pay a debit, pay money. So the less amount you pay, the better. So at this point, max profit 693, max loss is 7. I don't know why it says max profit's that, but so I'm trying to buy it back now for the minimum of 1 cent. Eventually, towards market end, this will close and I will buy it back for the minimum to probably the market maker. So that's how you kind of close out of a credit spread. And sometimes you have to do it a couple times. It won't fill, and they just keep doing it. But really, I have to just wait for the price. So close out of hood, close out of the calls on hood. Hood did pretty well, but I'm thinking next week might be pretty red, might bring the whole market down. Rolled our short puts on GME to next week. Sold covered calls on GME today. It wasn't as good as yesterday, just because there wasn't volatility. We didn't have this crazy IV that was pumped into GME like yesterday. Yesterday with this big rally up, IV got pumped into those options, so I could sell covered calls and make a lot just on these, just in 1 hour on it dropping, and then close it out, buy it back, buy the call back. It rips up here, sell the call, collect the premium, all that IV, it comes down, buy it back. You know, literally doing that back and forth. Trying to time the market a little bit, but you do some simple technical analysis and you can kind of do it. Today, it didn't have much IV. Of course, if I'd known, I would have sold covered calls up here. I didn't. It came to here, and I should have then, and I considered it just because my indicators were on, but I was like, you know what, this is a pretty big drop. I'm going to wait for it to come back up. I wanted to hit back on that line. It never did. It kept coming down, and then I was like, all right, by here, I knew it was the worst time. I even put it on the Discord. I'm like, I'm selling covered calls, worst time. Sold some here, and it ripped up, and I was like, oh man. Actually, I bought them back somewhere in here. Lost a little bit, but still net probably 300 or 400 from the rest of this day. Actually, we made a little bit down here actually, and then lost a little bit here, and then resold covered calls right here. This pop came back down. Thing is my strike was 210, so I was safe pretty much no matter what. But when I see it coming up like this and a big green candle like that, I'm like, we're gonna have a last, you know, half-hour pop or 45-minute like blow past 210. So that's where I'm kind of watching it close. I could have just held the 210s all the way through the volatility, but I figured I'd swing it a little bit. In hindsight, of course, since we didn't have volatility, it would have been best just to sell them on that first indicator and just let it ride. Because on the 8 shares, their 8 covered calls, it would have been, I think, like $1,500 for the 210, which was a good, probably actually more than that at that point. But anyways, we're still holding them. I will buy to close them. I have a minimum order out to buy to close those covered calls. So that'll happen by market close. So here they are. So we've got 800 shares and we've got 8 calls on it. So not gains like yesterday on it, but still something. So it'll be 319 on this leg. And I don't know what we did on the other legs, honestly. But so as time goes down, this will just decay. So all you guys buying options and you see them decaying, someone is winning on that option. You're losing, someone's winning. So yeah, did some of that, and I'm not going to hold covered calls over the weekend. Seems sketchy to me. I don't even actually want to hold overnight. Not on GME. BBIG, I closed that for a small loss. There is the hood close. So closed out of hood, closed out of that. Ford, the Ford play from yesterday, it's working out pretty well. 35%. I am holding that over the weekend since this is more of a value stock. They typically get, actually, as the market kind of starts to crash, people will kind of rush into value, and then if it's bad enough, then everything will crash, which I think it will. But initially, I think value will probably get pumped. Of course, they actually had a little up day. I did also sell. Let me see here. I sold a covered call also on this account, so you can see kind of fresh without me manipulating and going back and forth what it looks like. This was it. Oh, it closed it. Never mind, you can't see. Yeah, it was a 210 covered call. But yeah, that one is that. That's what I got for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good weekend. Chill out. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. I see a little correction coming on GME potentially, but at any rate, next week could be wild. Could be. I think the market's definitely setting up for a serious correction crash, the beginning of one at least. And I think that if we're inversing it, which we have been these days, then we will be golden. As you see, actually, it's really clear there on the hourly. Literally like 9.3. Is that? Wait, what? Oh, that's a way long ago. That's on 9.9. Yeah, look, 9.9, just dropping, raise, and then just today. Today we didn't really inverse it, kind of moved with it a little bit, but yeah, I'm stoked. Have a good weekend, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.